Imagine walking down a busy street in Boston in 1920. You see a massive crowd of people. They aren't protesting. They aren't waiting for a parade. They are fighting to get inside a small office. Men are throwing cash through the windows. Women are clutching their life savings in envelopes. Everyone is smiling. Everyone thinks they are about to become incredibly rich. And in the center of it all is a charming man with a warm smile and a fancy suit. His name is Charles Ponzi. He is promising to make them wealthy, and right now it looks like he is keeping his word. But in reality, they are stepping right into the most famous financial trap in human history. It all starts with a simple, brilliant idea. Or at least, that is what Ponzi tells everyone. He says he discovered a massive loophole in the global postal system. He tells people about something called international postal reply coupons. These are small paper slips used to buy stamps across borders. Ponzi claims he has found a way to buy these coupons very cheaply in countries with weak economies, ship them over to countries with strong currencies, and redeem them there for a much higher value. It sounds incredibly clever. He tells investors he can generate huge profits in a very short amount of time. He promises returns so massive that they sound too good to be true. But to the average person on the street, it sounds like the opportunity of a lifetime. But how did anyone actually believe this? You have to understand the time. In 1920, the world was changing fast. Global trade was expanding, and international mail was something everyone used. The idea of buying something cheap in Europe and selling it dear in America seemed totally plausible. It felt like a modern, sophisticated financial trick that only a genius could figure out. People wanted to believe that a regular guy from Boston had beaten the big banks at their own game. Ponzi did not sound like a confusing academic. He sounded like a smart friend who was letting you in on a massive secret. He made international finance sound simple, exciting, and incredibly profitable. The real engine of this trap was not the coupons. It was trust. And Ponzi knew exactly how to build it. At first, only a few people gave him their money. But then, something incredible happened. They actually got paid. Early investors walked out of his office with heavy pockets and giant smiles. They had made huge profits just like he promised. What did they do next? They did not keep it quiet. They told their families, their neighbors, and their co-workers. They went to their local pubs and churches and bragged about how easy it was. This was the ultimate social proof. People did not need to understand how international postal coupons worked. They just needed to see their neighbor buying a brand new car. If it worked for them, why wouldn't it work for you? Soon, the crowd outside Ponzi's office grew to thousands. Regular, hard-working people were caught up in the madness. Immigrants, factory workers, widows, and clerks lined up for hours. Many of them handed over everything they had. They emptied their savings accounts. They mortgaged their homes. They gave Ponzi money they had spent decades saving for their retirement or their children's education. They trusted this man completely. They saw him as a savior, a hero who was helping ordinary people get ahead. Millions of dollars poured into his office every single day. But behind the closed doors, there was a dark truth. Ponzi was not actually buying any coupons. The entire business was a giant illusion. The math of the scheme was completely impossible. There simply were not enough postal coupons in the entire world to support the returns Ponzi was promising. In reality, he was doing something incredibly simple and incredibly illegal. He was taking the money from new investors and using it to pay off the older investors. It was a giant, delicate pyramid of cash. But a system like this has a fatal flaw. It requires a constant, endless stream of new money to keep from falling apart. Eventually, people started to look closer. Newspapers began to ask tough questions. Investigators started to look into his actual business operations. They wanted to see the actual coupons. They wanted to see the receipts. The moment the public started to doubt, the magic vanished. Fear spread through the crowds like wildfire. Suddenly, everyone wanted their money back at the exact same time. The confidence collapsed. The cash ran out, and Charles Ponzi was arrested. Looking back, the warning signs were everywhere, but people chose to ignore them because they were blinded by greed and hope. The first warning sign was the sheer impossibility of the returns. No legitimate business can consistently generate massive, guaranteed profits without any risk. The second warning sign was the total lack of transparency. No one had ever actually seen warehouses full of these postal coupons. There were no shipping records, no massive commercial transactions, and no clear explanation of how millions of physical paper slips were being moved across the ocean and processed. People trusted the social proof of their friends getting paid instead of asking for cold, hard evidence. They trusted a charming smile over basic arithmetic. Today, Charles Ponzi's name is famous worldwide. We call this a Ponzi scheme. But even though 100 years have passed, the trap has not changed. The technology is different now. Instead of postal coupons, modern scammers use cryptocurrency, fake trading algorithms, or complex foreign exchange markets. But the underlying psychology is exactly the same. They still promise huge, guaranteed returns. They still rely on early investors to recruit their friends and family through social proof. And people still fall for it for the exact same reason. We want to believe there is a secret shortcut to wealth. So, ask yourself honestly, if you saw everyone around you getting rich on a hot new investment, would you have the strength to walk away? Or would you join the crowd outside the door?